welcome to Impact Wrestling and the Build to Bound for Glory. That's the title. This is what the title is, guys. When you look at this show, this is the beginning build to Bound for Glory. Of course, they've done some work beforehand, but this is officially when they're really trying to build the Bound for Glory for the next 4 weeks. Or 5 weeks, I think. 4 to 5 weeks. I think it's 4 weeks. No, when is it? October 24th? So they got almost 5 weeks, I think. 5 weeks building the Bound for Glory. So this is a lot better than what you would get with WWE. And let's be honest here. WWE sucks. And I am considering looking at Night of Champions, but I'm not sure yet. I probably will do a review of it. But seeing the WWE is bullshit. It is pissing my ass off. Even though seeing Jey Uso in the title picture is something interesting, special, working with his actual cousin. Still, the WWE sucks right now. AEW building into Full Gear, and I believe that's the name of it, Full Gear, is good to see. And I will be watching it. But seeing that Impact is doing their build now, a little ahead of WWE easily, is something I can say is good. Now, not everything in the show is great. They got a lot more to do. But at least we are getting something. Now, we got the tag match for the women. I don't know. Guys, look. I do not believe there's a possibility they will be bringing back the Impact Women's Tag Titles. I just don't know. I don't believe they will. They kind of hinted to it, but it doesn't really feel like they will do it. Now, mind you, they got 15 women on the roster that are seen generally on Impact. Not talking about Explosion, but on Impact. So they would have 4 teams of 8 women and 7 women to spare for the main title. They could do it. And of course, you can still interchange the women. So if they did bring back the titles, they have just enough women to cover for 4 teams and enough to actually do generally the world title picture. About 7 women. But the question is, will they do it? Now, you got Purrazzo and Kimberly versus Kylie Rae and Susie, who, and I'm not going to make this long, Sue showed herself a little bit. Just a little. And it freaked out a little bit of the Kylie Rae, going, "What's wrong with you, Susie? What's wrong?" And she snaps out of it. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be getting Sue Young at Bound for Glory. But it is good to see that Kylie is finally beginning to see something's up with Susie. Even though everyone has started telling Kylie, "Hey, you should be wondering what's going on here. There's something happening. This is what you get." Now, we got a match between TJ Perkins. I really wish Zema Ion, DJZ would come back. Because I think they really need more people for the X Division. I do believe it. Now, I'm not saying that Zema Ion, DJZ is a great wrestler. They need to bring back a lot of other wrestlers. They really need them. Because their X Division is very sparse. A lot of X Division guys is covering the world title picture and a few vice versa. So they need more people to really divide the divisions. The world title picture has almost nobody in it. And the X Division title picture has a few people in it, but it's not enough. So seeing this match was the best match of the night for me personally. Was not the 8-man tag. This was it. Seeing TJP, he is a talented wrestler. He's very underrated. Now, I'm sure a lot of people won't like him, but seeing that he does a lot of submission along with some high flying is what the MO of most high flyers do. That's in the recent era. But it's not something that's totally common, because a lot of people do a huge amount of lucha libre and high flying more than they would do submission. So here's a little bit of an anomaly, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Trey wins, and now supposedly you got Chris Bay, the smooth criminal himself, has the right to a title match. You now have TJP, who beat Chris Bay, who has the right to a title match. And now you got D. Trey, who just beat TJP, who has the right to a title match, as they're describing it. And now Raju is trying to set this up, saying, "Look, I have no control of this, but why don't you do a triple threat to see who gets the title? Get the one get the shot against me. Now everyone is kind of pissed at this, particularly the Chris Bay. I do believe Chris Bay has the right to have the title match before anyone else because he has a contract. He has supposedly a contract, a rematch clause to have this right. Having TJP and... You know what this feels like? When it comes to these four guys, when they go into Bound for Glory, because I have a feeling there's going to be some type of controversy next week because it's supposed to be a triple threat between TJ Perkins, Trey, as well as Chris Bay for the number one contender spot for the X Division. I may think there might be some type of shenanigans, and I'm mispronouncing this on purpose because I just don't want to see this. There's going to be a possible fatal four-way for the X Division at Bound for Glory. They always pull one off. If it's not a Ultimate X, it may be this. And honestly, I really want to see them build up Raju. Raju, I don't know if Rohit Raju is really being pushed here. As far as I can tell, he's a transitional champion, and they just gave this to him. I want to see him change his personality. I want to see him become more cocky again. More like an attitude because he's acting all scared and worried that he's going to lose his title. Of course, he's a chicken shit heel, but I don't really think he should need to be one. That's just me. Now, the Rich Swann segment. Look, I'm not saying that it was a bad segment. It was a great segment. Admittedly, Scott's not a very good actor. He's not. He's fine when it comes to doing some small stuff that he has to announce something, fine. But as a actor, the guy can't do a promo to save his damn life. He's just not that good. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that it could be just this one segment. And someone could tell me below, Andre, you've probably seen Scott a lot. So if he's really good as a promoist, he knows how to cut a promo beyond stink, then I don't mind being wrong. But he just didn't feel authentic enough. He felt like he was trying too hard. But when it comes to Rich was well done. He made it very clear. Look, this guy took my livelihood because I beat his butt. It was wrong what he did. And then worse yet, he wins the damn title. I must come after him. I don't care what it takes. And then once Scott said, look, you're not cleared. If I let you go, you could become crippled. And he said simply, I don't care if I become crippled. All I want is him. And then Eli comes out to try to attack him. And then the Rich tried to stop him and does. And then Scott gives this to us. He gives us the match. Now, here's the thing with me, guys. The segment was fine. Yeah, even with the acting isn't too great when it comes to Scott. And like I said, maybe this was an off time for him. I just don't feel he was that good here. And Rich was great, and so was EY. But here's the thing. Why did they rush this? You have until what, October? October 24th, I believe, is when you are going to have Bound for Glory. Why not drag this out a little bit? Why not have Rich say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to come back? And Scott says, you cannot be here. You got to go home. And then EY comes out, tries to attack me, tracks him again, and then we don't do anything. Again, Rich comes back again. He tries to attack EY. And EY is just messing with him. And he's messing with him back. And then EY, Eric Young, comes up to Scott and says, you better tell this guy to stop it, or I'm going to kill him. And then you see maybe 2 weeks before that it's finally Scott agrees to let him have it because EY basically attacks everyone, messes with everyone, and he can't stand it anymore. And then he says Rich is the best person to do it. Now, this is a little convoluted, but it feels a lot more tangible than just giving it to us a month beforehand. It feels like this was a little rushed. I just don't agree with it. Now, we got the Deaners versus Triple XL. Now, I don't normally talk about Triple XL and the Deaners. I don't. A lot of times I tend to forget the match because it doesn't lead anywhere. Their match never goes anywhere. It doesn't follow a storyline and doesn't really give them the opportunity to get a title shot. That was the thing that made me not always remember these guys. But I like the Deaners. I like Cousin Jake. And I like Cody. And then I like Ace Romero, and Larry D's right hook really looks much better than Lacey Evans' right hook. It just does. Not because he's a man, it's because he follows through with it a lot better than she does. But when it comes down to it, and it was a good match, I just feel like, look guys, if I'm correct, we have 10 tag teams. 10. In Impact Wrestling. That is way more than WWE. And admittedly, it's less than what they got on AEW. But they could do so much with it. And I just feel like these guys are not being utilized. When it comes to AC and Larry D, they should be destructive. They're the biggest guys there, in not just in height, but in weight. And they should destroy everyone. They should be a credible threat against the Motor City Machine Guns. And they're not. And I just feel like they're really not getting anywhere like this. But this is just me, guys. Telling you, look, we had the Myers and Willie Mack match. Now, if this is leading to an X Division title shot, I don't mind that Willie Mack is going to win this match, which he did. Because Brian Myers had cheated twice, and finally, Willie gets one up on him. But, and I gotta say this, but, what now? What now for Willie? What now for Brian? Now, I know people are going to say Brian Myers is nothing but a fucking jobber. Who cares? He's an old WWE guy. Now, I want to say this right now for this one comment. And I've seen it in my comment section. And I want to say this to everyone there who keeps saying, doesn't matter who you are, I don't want to see a WWE guy. Who wants these garbage guys? Listen to me. WWE right now has at least half of the best independent wrestlers that is known throughout all of the country and in some parts of the world. And they're hoarding them. Now, mind you, Brian Myers is not one of the greatest wrestlers. Neither is Matt Cardona, the Zack Ryder himself. But they were never, and I want to make this clear to you, they were never given a great opportunity because every single time Vince never allowed it. Because every single time when it comes to the writers, he would override them and say, I want this. Even if they had good storylines or possibility for a good one or even being given one, Vince stopped it. And to be honest, the way WWE has been for the last decade, they should have taken more risk with these guys and gave them the shot, because right now as it stands, the only thing they got on SmackDown Live is Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Let that sink in for a minute. Jey Uso has never had a shot at any major title, and he has not been pushed in any way whatsoever. Hell, Jimmy got a push against The Miz and Naomi. If he wasn't hurt, he'd be probably getting this push instead of Jey. And that is saying a lot. This shows you how bad the booking is there. So I want to make this clear to anyone. Stop saying WWE guys suck. You don't know if they suck or not until they're given proper storylines. And I'm not saying that Impact is going to do it, but at least give them a shot on AEW and give them a shot on Impact. Who cares how long they've been in the company? They've been screwed over. Deal with it. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to say it. It's just, I'm tired of hearing this in comments, not just my own, but other people's comments saying, I can't stand WWE guys. They suck. They never can do anything right. It's good that Vince did this. Vince has never given anybody a chance. He's fucked everybody. Even the ones who's given chances to, he's fucked them as well. So, you get my point. Now, we got Moose calling, supposedly, I wish they actually done this. And I think a little bit of AEW could have helped a little bit of Impact Wrestling in this point. I wish they had done this and contacted Chris Jericho and say, Chris, look, we know you're in a different company, but can you give us a favor here and talk with Moose and give him a little rub here? We need some help here. because Moose went to Scott saying that EC3 is messing with everybody he knows. And Scott's saying that Moose is in his head. And Moose is pretty much in his head. And he's saying clearly, you better show up soon, Moose, or I'm going to destroy this title. I'm coming. It's coming. Not I'm coming. It's coming. But the reason I botch here is I really wish, and I know, look, Generally Impact normally makes agreements with other companies in some more form or fashion. But I truly believe Y2J could have actually been involved in this. Instead of them faking Y2J, the Mr. Bubbly, the champion himself, the demigod, I'm sure Chris would be willing to give a little rub to a Moose, to lend a hand to another rival company that's been pretty screwed lately. Come on. I just wish they had done it. I really wish that Tony Khan would allow it and Chris would allow it and let a little rub go on. Look what's going on with NWA. This coming week, Thunder Rose is going to show her title again. That shows it can work. We need to do something. Come on. Let's move on. We got Kiera Hogan versus the Taya Valkyrie. The flip side of the Hood Rats. And I'm going to keep calling the Kiera Hogan as well as Natasha Steele the Hood Rats because they're trifling girls. Now, I like them. Seeing them trifling like this is good because sometimes Hood Rats really can do the business right. This is the truth. Living in New York, you can know this to a certain extent that when it comes to the projects and there's some crazy women out there from the hood that live in the projects, they can act crazy and nuts and they're funny to watch. And then sometimes they're actually right. They just like to be way over embellishing. Now they tried to mess with Johnny. And the Taya got very upset about it. So this is where this match came in. And supposedly Rosemary was supposed to be there. But she's trying to, if I'm correct, trying to get back Father Mitchell. And went to the Havoc and Navaya. I'm calling Navaya. Because she's cute. Pretty much, and I mispronounced her name. But going to them and asking for help to bring back Father Mitchell. If I'm right, that's who she's trying to call back. And fine with that. I always liked Father Mitchell. But she wasn't there. Even though the Taya, if I remember correctly, it was Kiera who won. Because Rosemary was not there. Because this is still about Rosemary trying to marry Johnny Bravo, who was not there either. She was all by her lonesome. She did not have Johnny Bravo there at all. So the question is, how far are they going to go before the triangle finally destroys itself? And I know people are not interested in this. And to be honest, I'm not really interested in seeing another wedding on a show. Particularly AEW is going to be doing it soon. And Miro, and I called him Nero by accident. The Rusev, I called him Nero instead of Miro. My mistake, guys. But I just don't want to see too many weddings. It looks like they're going to do another one. Ugh. But anyway, it was still an okay segment. Now, this was a funny thing. Actually, two more. One, Jordan Grace is still messing with Tennille Dashwood. And now she has a match. She actually went to a photo shoot. Told her, when are you coming back to work? She says she's at work. And she says, well, when you come back to your real work, you got a match with me. You see Tennille in my face. I don't know how far they're going to go with Tennille, but I hope they will. The second segment, and that was kind of leading into what happened last week. You got Hernandez being pretty much challenged again by Rhino, who brought in the Heath. And Rhino said last week, you need advertisement to try and get in here, to try and get a job here. I know we can get some cash. And then you got the match itself, the arm wrestling match, where pretty much you see Hernandez acting like a total goof, not keeping an eye on his money, and that the Heath grabs it and runs out with it, and then there's no arm wrestling match at all. You can see them in my face. I'm sorry, guys. You can't be serious that you set up Hernandez to be that stupid not to put the money in his pocket, or at least keep it close enough that you can see it. He should have took off his shades and did his business. He nothing but a bitch. Now I'm saying this for Hernandez. He a bitch for not keeping an eye on his money. Seriously. Now, if I'm forgetting something, I'm sorry. Last match of the night, the 8-man tag I really didn't care about. Look, guys, I've seen so many AEW 8-man tags, it's burnt me out. I just don't like them. And this situation is trying to build into for. You see it in my face. I hate 8-man tags because it does not accomplish anything. It doesn't give one team over another an opportunity going into a pay-per-view, particularly that this pay-per-view is coming a month or maybe a month and a week from now. And even though it was Sabin who got pinned by Ace Austin, I just don't believe it was necessary to have an 8-man tag. If they're biting off AEW, it wasn't necessary. I just don't believe it was necessary. They could have gave us an extra segment that can build into Bound for Glory. More build up for Bound for Glory, maybe a feud or two without having an actual match. It wasn't a bad show. I didn't mind most of the show, but they need to start building, and this is the first episode while they're building into Bound for Glory. I am going to give it a somewhat of a pass here because this is the beginning build of maybe a month to a month and a week before the show happens. So this is just beginning. Hopefully they get something better next week. But this is just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.